All right, so tell me just a little bit about how this documentary started to get made. Whose idea was it? How did this documentary become even an idea?
Yeah, so Improv Everywhere has been around for 12 years, and I guess 4 or 5 years ago I was contacted by filmmaker Matt Adams, someone I'd collaborated with. He had made a number of our films for YouTube, and he asked me if he could make a feature-length documentary about the group. And I said yes. He was somebody that I trusted because I'd worked with him, and I knew he was really good. I think initially it was a 6-month project, and then as he started working, he realized how much footage there was, and that we had hundreds and hundreds of tapes of footage, and it ended up being a process that took over 4 years. But I'm glad it did, because I think the end result really shows the whole scope of the project from 2001 to something we did a month ago.
So, you did have that deal with NBC going on for a while and didn't quite go through so well. So, were you worried about this being made in the end?
The documentary, since it was made by somebody I know, it wasn't something that we needed approval for, so he was able to make the documentary in his own terms. He did it on a $0 budget for several years, and then last year he ran a Kickstarter campaign and raised some money in order to bring a professional editor on board and a professional composer to score it and to make it into a real movie. But I think that's a very exciting thing, that we're living in a time now where you can create something all on your own and even fund it, using crowdfunding on your own, and at no point ever have to have anybody else's approval or green light.
So, at what point did you feel that, Improv Everywhere became your full-time job? Was it, during the making of the film? Was it before the film? When did you really realize that this has become your job and you no longer had to, be a temp and, work these smaller jobs?
I think when the documentary started, I was still an improv teacher. I was teaching at the Upright Citizens Brigade Theater in New York. So that was sort of my primary job, was teaching improv, and then I focused every other second on Improv Everywhere. And it's only been the last few years that I've just really full-time work on Improv Everywhere, which has been really exciting. And I'm able to do that because I do a lot of public speaking, I do a lot of touring and talking about what I do. And I produce projects, in other cities for festivals and things like that. So, and that's a lot of fun. It's been a real treat to be able to travel around and bring this project to new places. And today it was really exciting to get to actually do a project here in Austin. And we had about 300 people come out, and it was really a lot of fun.
You're talking a bit about, you do some speaking and you do some touring. So how often do you have, or how much time do you have to come up with new, pranks to do and new improvisations to do with big crowds?
Well, my goal with the Improv Everywhere YouTube channel is to release about one new video a month. So, there's a lot of channels that release really frequently, and unfortunately our stuff is so complicated and involves so many different moving parts and different people that it takes me about a month to sort of get the idea ready, get the crew ready, figure out how to cast it, and figure out a location and all that. So I try to stay pretty consistent, and about once a month we'll have a new video that we're releasing.
Over the years, your pranks have gotten a bit more planned out.
Right.
From that subway no canceling to now, you're doing these big MP3 projects.
Right.
So,
right. Hey, fella.
Where do you see this taking? How much bigger do you think you can get?
Yeah, it's gotten bigger and bigger over the years. The last No Pants subway ride had 4,000 people doing it in New York, and it had many thousand more doing it in 60 cities around the world. So, I'd like to see it keep growing, but, for us, the point is not numbers. It's fun to be able to say that 4,000 people took their pants off on the train, but it's just as funny with 7 people. It's just a matter of scaling it. And I like to make sure that as things get bigger, that we still take the time to organize it so that it's still a surprise. It doesn't become this sort of carnival, that it stays true to what it should be. And I'm also just as interested in doing projects that have 2 people in them as I am 2,000.
Okay, and so tell me just a little bit about, the long-term plans for Improv Everywhere. Once you feel like you've reached your peak, do you think you're going to pass it off to someone else, potentially?
Probably not. I think it's something I'm going to keep doing for a long time. And I think, we've already done it for almost 12 years. And I think the reason why the project has had longevity is because we're constantly trying to come up with new ideas. And we have some annual events like the No Pants Subway Ride, and we have events that we tour like the MP3 experiment. But for me, I would, if I just did the same 5 things every year, I would certainly get tired of it. So it's important for me to keep trying to figure out something that's brand new that no one's seen before, that where we don't know what's going to happen. I mean, those are the exciting ones for me, where I truly have no idea how it's going to turn out.
How does it feel like to have, this whole thing about you and your Improv Everywhere thing?
I'm really excited about it. I mean, I only saw the film for the first time about 3 weeks ago, so I really trust Matt Adams, the filmmaker, and I knew it was going to be good, and I knew he was going to do a good job telling the story. But still, somebody's making a movie about your life and you haven't seen it, it's a little bit nerve-wracking. And then when I saw it, I was really excited about it. I think he did a tremendous job telling our story, and I'm excited for the film to be seen as far and wide as possible. I think it's a great introduction to what Improv Everywhere is for people who haven't heard about it, and it's a great behind-the-scenes look for people who do know about it and who maybe wouldn't know all the crazy stories that happened over the years.
All right, so you've been in Austin for just a few days now. You kind of got to experience the best of Austin through South by Southwest. What is your favorite thing about Austin?
I had a great time. Austin seems to be a fantastic city, and especially here in March, the weather, now that the rain stopped, it's just fantastic weather. So I've had just a great time walking around downtown and going from party to party and bar to bar, and seeing some of the other films has been really fun. I absolutely love the Alamo Drafthouse. I had been to Austin once before and had done a UCB theater show at the Alamo Drafthouse, but I went to the Alamo Slaughter yesterday. Our film screened, and watched another movie and had lunch. And I think the Alamo Drafthouse is coming to New York, I know, and I think pretty soon it's going to take over the United States. I mean, they do movies so well, and just the whole experience is so great that I think it's inevitable that every movie theater is going to have that quality at some point.